28 races, 28 victories. For nearly 3 seasons, Femke Bol has treated the women's 400-meter hurdles like her own rehearsal space. Steady stride, calm face, identical outcome. When she floated across a rain-slick London track in 52.10 seconds, the roar that followed sounded different. It wasn't routine applause. It was 50,000 people wondering if anyone, anywhere, can halt a march that's beginning to echo Edwin Moses in the 80s. That curiosity spiked because Bol's London run came less than a week after her 51.95 masterclass in Monaco, the year's fastest time. 2 contrasting tracks, 2 contrasting climates, the same result. Those back-to-back wins pushed her Diamond League streak to 28 straight. No other sprinter or hurdler, not Noah Lyles, not Faith Kipyegon, matches that run. Yet streaks mean little until you weigh them against ghosts in the record book. Bol still chases one, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, whose 50.68 world record from 2022 stands untouched. Sydney has spent 2 seasons working the weight room, posting occasional flat 400s and declining every head-to-head invite. That silence is a riddle older fans savor. Is the American sharpening steel out of sight, or has Bol's relentless rhythm already built a gap no one can close? The numbers argue both sides. Bol's 51.95 averages 12.98 meters per second, just 400ths shy of Sydney's world record tempo. But their methods could not be more different. Bol opens with 14 strides to every hurdle through barrier 7, then lengthens to 15 for the final 3, a plan that sacrifices early punch for late race steadiness. Sydney fires harder, clears lower, stays on 13 strides deep into the lap, then hangs on through lactic burn. 2 philosophies, 1 stopwatch. Somewhere in that contrast lives the next world champion. Streaks do break, often for mundane reasons. A twinge, a gust, an overloaded schedule. Zurich looms on the calendar, promising a deeper field and appearance fee temptations that could lure Bol into doubling over a flat 400 before the hurdle's final. Fatigue makes 29 straight anything but automatic. Prefontaine may throw a tailwind she hasn't faced, and the World Championships in humid Tokyo could melt even flawless rhythm. Another wrinkle keeps American viewers hooked. A new US wave, Jasmine Jones at 53.18, Anna Cockrell at 53.28, quietly gathers speed. Nations win titles on depth as often as on singular brilliance. If Sydney tweaks an ankle or sticks to the flat 400, Bol could meet more than one red, white, and blue spoiler. So the streak stands, the record survives, and the clock keeps ticking toward a first true clash in more than 2 years. Next, we'll dissect Bol's Monaco blueprint, her 14-stride opening, late switch to 15, wind numbers, and featherlight spikes, to decide whether her speed is maxed out or still climbing. Because somewhere between the science of her cadence and the psychology of a silent rival lies the answer every hurdles fan wants. Who breaks first? Femke's rhythm or Sydney's patience? Monaco, evening warmth, a polished Mondo track, and a tailwind so faint the flags barely stirred. Femke Bol settles into lane 6. The gun snaps. She launches into 14 identical strides. 1, 2, 3. Rhythm so even you could set a metronome to it. Barrier 1, barrier 2, all the way through hurdle 7 the pattern holds. 14 steps between each touchdown. Then, as she enters the far bend, she shifts gears. 15 strides to hurdle 8, 9, 10. The crowd sees no stumble, only a subtle elongation of her hips and a hint of longer ground contact. The clock stops at 51.95. Why? 14, then 15. Early aggression without late collapse. Running a shorter stride count out of the blocks gives her speed while her legs are freshest. Adding a step over the final 100 reduces lactic spikes when muscles scream. Average velocity, 12.98 meters per second. Sydney mclaughlin-Levrone's record pace sits at 13.13. The gap is smaller than a credit card at every barrier. Wind matters. Monaco's plus 0.2 tailwind converts Bol's 51.95 to roughly 52.04 in still air, almost identical to the 52.10 she produced days later amid London drizzle. Consistency is her true weapon, fast everywhere, any weather. Gear plays its part. Adidas supplied 117-gram prototype spikes, 13 grams lighter than her 2024 pair. Multiply that tiny savings over about 250 ground contacts, and she lifts half a kilogram less steel than last season, a modest edge that converts to fresh legs at hurdle 10. Asked afterward, Bol deflected praise to training, flat shoe hurdle drills, Achilles-friendly surfaces, and kilometer after kilometer of tempo at the Dutch Institute in Papendal. Lab data backs the eye test. Papendal's biomechanics unit records her touchdown variance at under 2 centimeters across all 10 hurdles. Ground contact time, roughly 0.11 seconds, identical to her open 400 rhythm. That cross-event efficiency lets her drop a 49 flat quarter 1 week and hurdle mid-51 the next. But every blueprint has weak seams. Heat remains Bol's unknown. None of her sub-52s have come above 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Tokyo's final is set for midday humidity. Hot air robs stride frequency and makes spikes feel like lead. Then there's the schedule minefield. Zurich offers a 6-figure appearance purse if she doubles the flat quarter. 48 hours later, she would hurdle. Money or perfection? Which does the streak value more? Meanwhile, America reloads. Jasmine Jones and Anna Cockrell lack records, but they race. Often. Race rhythm beats practice polish more times than highlight reels admit. If Sydney is rusty or absent, one of these women could force Bol off her flawless line. Blueprints are wonderful until conditions change. Heat, money, a rival's raw ferocity. Anyone could rip at Bol's algebra of 14 and 15. In the next segment, we pressure test those seams. Zurich's doubleheader, Tokyo's climate, and the US depth chart that might turn a one-woman procession into a 3-nation firefight. Because the only thing more compelling than a perfect plan is watching to see if it finally breaks. Every perfect run attracts its first crack, and Femke Bol's calendar shows 3 places where that fissure could open. The first test is Zurich. Organizers have floated a hefty appearance bonus if she races the flat 400 on Thursday night and the hurdles final on Saturday. 2 laps around the track in 48 hours sounds easy on paper. In practice, it means 40 jumps, 10 in warm-ups, 30 in competition, plus a full-out quarter that batters every fiber from ankle to hip. Most athletes would pass. Yet 6-figure contracts turn maybe into must, and Bol has already hinted she likes to keep options open. If she agrees, the streak faces fatigue more than rivals. A tired calf can cost the step switch. A heavy hamstring can turn 14 strides into 15 far too soon, and one sloppy barrier ends perfection in an instant. Stress Test 2 arrives 2 weeks later in Eugene. Hayward Field's late September schedule often gifts a mild tailwind, enough to accelerate approach speed into each hurdle. That sounds like free velocity, but wind also shortens ground contact. Bol choreographs her 14-stride pattern to the centimeter. A 0.8 tailwind shaves time between touches, forcing her to decide, lengthen the step, or squeeze in a 15th mid-race. Either choice risks rhythm collapse. Sydney's 13-stride storm thrives on wind. Bol's measured ballet does not. American fans remember Edwin Moses in '84 adjusting stride mid-final and nearly fumbling barrier 10. Tailwind can be a blessing or a booby trap. We'll know which once Eugene's flags start whipping. The final and biggest stress test is Tokyo's climate. Trackside forecasts for early October average 87 degrees Fahrenheit, with humidity hovering near 70%. Heat thickens the air, lungs burn, stride frequency dips, and spikes feel like ankle weights by hurdle 8. Bol's entire sub-52 catalog was logged below 80 degrees. Sydney, by contrast, ran her 50.68 world record in scorching Eugene heat. If conditions in Tokyo resemble those finals, the advantage tilts American. Bol's team has begun heat room sessions in Papendal, but laboratories lack the chaos of a championship warm-up track, crammed with 40 nervous hurdlers and TV cameras stealing shade. Depth adds another layer of pressure. While the world focuses on a Bol-McLaughlin duel, Jasmine Jones quietly hammered a 53.19 season best in London, and Anna Cockrell owns a 53.28 with cleaner hurdle technique than ever. Either one could force Bol to push early splits just to hold lane separation. A split a quarter second quicker than planned sounds small until lactic acid floods the gear change from 14 to 15. Remember, Doha 2019. Dalila Muhammad surged early, Rai Benjamin chased, and rhythm unraveled at hurdle 10 for everyone except the woman who managed her steps. If Jones or Cockrell go reckless out of lane 3, Bol cannot afford to ignore them. She must respond, risking her pattern in the process. Even Sydney's silence sharpens the danger. No race footage means no fresh data for coaches to dissect. Bol will step onto the Tokyo start line guessing whether the American will open with 13 strides or 14, whether she'll attack early or stalk. Guessing breeds tension. Tension tightens shoulders, and tight shoulders raise hurdle clearance angle by a centimeter, just enough to steal the credit card margin that separates record chasers from medal collectors. 3 meets, 3 stressors. Zurich's greedy double, Eugene's tailwind roulette, Tokyo's sauna finish. Anyone could rip the seam in a 28-race fortress. Or Bol's rhythm might bend and, like Moses 4 decades ago, refuse to break. In our final chapter, we'll weigh that possibility against Sydney's unfinished business and ask the question every fan of the red, white, and blue wants answered. Is the crown drifting toward Europe for good? Or will an American thunderclap silence the streak when it matters most? Time can crown a champion, and just as quickly, expose what's still missing. Femke Bol is the reigning world champion after Budapest 2023, but last summer in Paris, she settled for bronze in the Olympic final. Sydney mclaughlin-Levrone stormed to gold, Dalila Muhammad claimed silver, and Bol's flawless Diamond League rhythm met the one arena she has yet to conquer. That unfinished business fuels every stride she takes toward Tokyo 2025. Bol's resume now reads like a puzzle with one piece lost under the couch. 28 straight Diamond League wins, a 51.95 world lead, national records galore, but no Olympic title. Sydney's resume is the mirror image. Olympic gold, world record, 50.68, but no hurdles crowned since 2022, and only one hurdles outing this season, a 52.76 rust breaker in Kingston. She never stopped racing, flat 400s, relay legs, but her hurdle rhythm has hibernated in training sessions far from cameras. 2 superstars, 2 gaps, one collision course. If Bol sidesteps Zurich's tempting flat 400 payday and survives Eugene's fickle tailwind, she will reach Tokyo with unrivaled momentum. Her greatest unknown is heat. All of her sub-52s came below 80 DGF. The Tokyo final is slated for a humid mid-afternoon slot that historically sits near 87 DGF. Hot air saps stride frequency and turns her precise 14 then 15 pattern into heavy labor. Pappendel's heat chamber sessions simulate the furnace, but no treadmill replicates the chaos of a packed call room and a stadium humming at 110 decibels. Sydney's camp fights the opposite battle, rhythm versus rust. Those 50-second flat races prove her engine purrs, yet hurdle cadence, 13 strides deep into the lap, must fire under real race stress. Coach Bobby Kersey swears by Tuesday block work and Thursday hurdle sets. But even he concedes that adrenaline can't be bottled. When Sydney crouches on the Tokyo start line, she'll be trusting muscle memory she hasn't tested in a global final for over 2 years. Depth complicates everything. Jasmine Jones, 53.18, and Anna Cockrell, 53.28, have stacked 7 finals apiece since April, banking race rhythm that practice cannot replicate. One fearless American in lane 2 could press Bol's opening split, exactly how Delilah Muhammad dragged her into early oxygen debt in Paris. If Bol accelerates a quarter-second faster than planned to defend position, lactic acid can force an unplanned 15-stride emergency well before hurdle 8. Conversely, an on-form Bol could drag a wild card to a lifetime best and ignite a 3-way fight that Sydney hasn't rehearsed. Legacy magnifies every variable. Should Bol capture gold in Tokyo, she would become Europe's first woman to hold both world title and Olympic medals in the event since Sally Gunnell. If Sydney reclaims the crown, she proves her silence was calculated, not cautious, and resets the record debate in a single swoop. For US fans over 40, the stakes echo Edwin Moses versus Harold Schmidt. National pride riding on rhythm counts and barrier shadows. Stat sheets suggest a photo finish future. Bol's 51.95 converts to about 52.04 in neutral wind. Sydney's Rustbreaker 52.76 on a rainy track hints she can drop near 52 flat with 2 sharpeners. One misjudged stride change, one clipped toe on hurdle 9, or one gust of headwind could decide gold. Zurich on August 29th and Prefontaine on September 13th are the last live fire tests. If Bol remains unbeaten through both, the narrative bends her way. If Sydney pops a sub-52 in Eugene, the balance swings overnight. So the cannon is primed, a world champion missing Olympic gold, an Olympic champion missing recent rhythm, and a pair of young Americans ready to ambush if either queen hesitates. When the gun cracks in Tokyo, 10 barriers will sort myth from measurement, and 50-plus seconds later, the future of the 400-meter hurdles will belong to whoever blinks last, Femke's metronome or Sydney's thunder.